Welcome back to All About the Alternative. So one of the things I look at in this channel is shopping trends, and this one is definitely no different. This one is a rewards program that we have in Canada that is a long-standing program that has been around for many, many years. It's called the Canadian Tire Rewards Dollars Program, and it's now known as actually Triangle Rewards, but if you'll stick with me, let's have a look at what that trend is all about. One of the things I look at when I look at shopping trends is actually one of the loyalty programs that some of these companies have. And this one is definitely no different because, of course, this one is solely a Canadian program, but it is called Canadian Tire Dollars. Canadian Tire, actually, I'm just going to briefly here, is actually a company that is many stores. It's a department store all over Canada, and but they do not actually exist in the States. I did check that out, and they are not actually available in the States. It's only a Canadian company called Canadian Tire, logically. Um, so Canadian Tire basically was started off as a gas station and for car repairs, and then it changed. And of course, it became actually about being actually a department store, so you can actually purchase everything in these stores, from all things. Of course, you can do paint, you can get your party supplies, you can get all your housewares, storage supplies, sporting equipment, anything you'd actually find mostly in a department store, minus of course no groceries, except for a few like snack foods. I think they still had some snack foods in there as well, so there's that, like chips and things like maybe pop or something. But majority of the time, they don't actually carry anything of food-wise. But so they're a huge department store now. Of course, their motive at one time was that more than tires, and that it would be correct because they have a whole lot of things that are available now. If you walk into the store and you need a part for your car, you can walk into their department, their service department, and ask them for what the make of your car is, and they will direct you towards where you need to go to find the item you need for your car. So they're very helpful in that regard. And actually, at the time of making this video, I did reach out to Canadian Tire to let them know I was doing this video. But they are not sponsoring this video. So just to let you know that. But at some point I will do a video actually in store to show what the store is all about, maybe do some comparison price shopping. And their prices are actually pretty comparable to a lot of places. And sometimes they have discounts, they have sales that are actually, especially around, of course, Christmas time. And they usually follow suit with a lot of the other stores. So if they're actually doing, like Amazon has their Prime Day, they may do a sale around the same time. It's called the Red Tag Sale, and they will have a lot of discount items at that time as well, which follows very closely in price, or actually matches or less the prices that are actually out there with a lot of regular department stores, such as like Walmart, for example, or that Amazon. And so they will compete with them quite a bit. So anyway, but what we're looking at here today is actually the loyalty program that they've had for many, many years. And apparently it started in 1958 with their gas bar. And you could, whenever you were buying gas or whatever, you would get these Canadian Tire dollars. And they were just, they look like paper money, and referred to as Canada's Monopoly money because they were the Canadian Tire dollars that looked very similar to money, and they had they have their own codes, they have their own thing, so that actually makes them look like money, and you'll probably see pictures of them. I'll also show them as well today. So they actually they have different denominations of 5, 10, 15, 25 cents, and at one point they actually had dollars and $2 that were available as well. And so you'd save up all of that money, and I guess you'd use it towards gas at that time. But somewhere around the 1960, 61, they changed it so that when you were purchasing gas, you might receive these the Canadian Tire dollars, but you couldn't actually use it towards gas anymore. You were now using it towards their in-store products. So you could use it for that. And so you have the option of whatever you're purchasing. So you save up all your Canadian Tire dollars, and of course, I mean, every time you purchase something, you're getting more of these Canadian Tire dollars. So you'd save them up, and then go into the store. And when you're purchasing something, you might purchase it with your own cash, but also maybe use the Canadian Tire dollars. But you can also save up enough that maybe you can actually purchase whatever it is you're purchasing from Canadian Tire dollars only. It was a great rewards program, and of course still is, but it's changed. It's evolved over time, and that is pretty neat, actually. So, and it's more like a 1960s, right? So, and then of course, I remember when I was younger, of course, we would save up the Canadian Tire dollars and go, okay, I'm going to Canadian Tire, let's grab our Canadian Tire dollars and go see what we can get. And I had some Canadian Tire dollars that I had saved up myself at one time, and I managed to buy this radio, a stereo radio, with 2 tape decks. And so I remember buying that, and it's a big, oh hey, I got a big stereo, and that was my my big thing back then. I think maybe I was 10 years old at the time. But then of course, I do have another story as well, that when I was in junior high, and for junior high in my area, that was actually back then grades 7, 8, and 9. And many stories that I have, this is one of them, that they had a carnival at the end of every year. They would get prizes and stuff like that, and where the prizes came from was a campaign over the entire year, that they would campaign for anybody's Canadian Tire dollars, your families, your parents, your whoever, you know, could contribute whatever Canadian Tire dollars to a big you know, stash of Canadian Tire dollars. And the organizers for this event would take the Canadian Tire dollars, and of course, like I said, it was for the 3 years that I was a part of it. They would go to Canadian Tire and buy all of the prizes based on only what the Canadian Tire dollars that they had accumulated over the year. And many times there were lots of like really neat things that they would find. Not just like little dollar store items, but I mean actual, like, you know, houseware things, or things that obviously kids of 7, 8, and 9, grade 7, 8, and 9 would be interested in. Or perhaps maybe, I think there was an odd thing or something like that, you know, hey, maybe I'll take it home to my parents or something, you know, that was something for them. But yeah, all these prizes came from Canadian Tire. So that was actually, you know, something to look forward to every year, I guess, basically, as we just saved up all this Canadian Tire money, because everybody did it. Everybody would go to Canadian Tire to buy certain things, because their prices were at one time actually probably better than some of the other department stores. I don't think we even had Walmart at the time, to be honest. I think we had Kmart, and I'm sure we had Zellers, and I'm sure we also had something called Woolworths, which I believe became Walmart. But for anything like that, so Canadian Tire was was a pretty popular store to go to at the time for that. And of course, you know, Canadian Tire would also repair your car and that, so you could also use those Canadian Tire dollars towards that too, if you had enough, you know, whatever. But you also had the option that you could pay for whatever it is, and then use your Canadian Tire dollars that you had as a supplement to whatever you're buying. So not just there are some loyalty programs that you only have to use their loyalty program dollars, and you can't use any extra cash or anything. I believe HSBC was that way, or HS, the one for Hudson's Bay, was like that. You only use their points only to buy the extra items or whatever. So, but the Canadian Tire dollar one was you could use your own cash in addition to the Canadian Tire dollars. So there was that. I think that was one of the incentives that made it really good. But of course, I mean, you have time, like all those Canadian Tire dollars. Over time, things do evolve, as I said. And of course, they went to a different program in early, I believe, well, maybe just after 2010 to 2014 or so, they changed to another program with a card for your Canadian Tire dollars, and they announced that the Canadian Tire dollars would no longer be given out. But in addition to doing that, if you did still have Canadian Tire dollars, and to this day, if you still have Canadian Tire dollars, these cents and dollars, you can still cash them in. They will accept them. But they now have the card. You had to sign up for the card and everything, so your information is attached to this card, to the loyalty card. But anytime you purchase something, you showed that card and you got Canadian Tire dollars. Now the interesting part of that is that whenever you would spend cash, or you use debit, or you actually using Canadian Tire dollars again, you would get this Canadian Tire dollars returned to you in whatever denomination that they determined. But if you had used a credit card, you didn't get these Canadian Tire dollars. So there's that as well. So then they changed the program, of course, and Canadian Tire became a financial institution as well, and they started actually having their own MasterCard program. And through that, if you used their MasterCard, you got Canadian Tire dollars. And so now that whole system changed, of course, and eventually it actually changed to, if you used a credit card, because they now had that loyalty card, they changed the system again, and now anytime you use any credit card, you would get the Canadian Tire dollars. But if you used their card, this Canadian Tire MasterCard, you would get additional points, or additional Canadian Tire dollars. So it was more of an incentive to, of course, get their card to use in their store. And again, anytime you purchase something, they would, of course, you'd put it on that card. And very recently, to 2018, I believe, was when it actually changed over to the new system they have, which is Triangle Rewards. And that actually took on, it's not just Canadian Tire anymore, because they had affiliates with what we have Mark's Work Warehouse, which is a clothing store for basically workwear kind of thing, rugged workwear kind of thing that they have. So they have a loyalty program with that, and another company called Sports Check, which is also sporting goods. So you can use those, you can get the Triangle Rewards points and dollars using that as well. So you can actually use that card now in any of those stores, and your Canadian Tire dollars are enveloped in that. So it's actually called Triangle Rewards now, as opposed to Canadian Tire dollars. But things change and things evolve. Maybe other stores will become a part of it someday in the future. Who knows? But there's a part of their affiliates that they have, and that's why they're part of that program now. But if you buy anything, if you use the Canadian Tire MasterCard and you go to any other store, or you use your funds on the card for any other purchases, you also get Canadian Tire dollars, the Triangle Rewards dollars, added to your current balance of Canadian Tire dollars. Anytime you go into the store, of course, and you're purchasing something and you use your card and And they go, do you want to spend your points and stuff? So all loyalty programs do that because they want you to spend points, and don't keep them, locked away in their system, because that's what the loyalty program is there for, of course. But over time, that's how it gets used. And so yeah, to this day, actually, that Canadian Tire dollars is definitely still a thing. On eBay, there actually is someone, I guess the value of a 25-cent Canadian Tire dollar today is, I think it was $550. I think at the time of making this video, I saw one there. I also saw one for 10 cents that was in the $700 range. So you never know what could have value, in any case. So, I mean, find somebody's, stash of Canadian Tire dollars and see if, if it's in mint condition. It might be worth something, or just take it into the store and they will still honor it, as far as at the time of making this video was my information that I received. So yeah, so of course it's still a very vast loyalty program that is still, it's obviously still, it's doing some evolving as far as what it's changed from, but it's a very lucrative system for them, and of course it makes it actually, you're looking to save up those Canadian Tire dollars and go after purchasing something maybe you wouldn't normally purchase on your, spending your regular money. So something you've been looking forward to or something. I mean, they have all kinds of items in this store. So they have like their housewares, they have sports goods, they have all kinds of like the party stuff and storage equipment. They have their, of course, automotive equipment, and maybe something for your car. Go out and use your Canadian Tire dollars to make that purchase. And so hopefully you can give me a like and a subscribe if you like this content. If you've used your Canadian Tire dollars, did you have a group that maybe used your Canadian Tire dollars for something else similar to what I had? Put it in the comments as well, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody.